What's up, everybody? So the Astra Militarum Codex, force-wise, the Codex as a force to collect and play, has an interesting, unique issue with it. And it has nothing to do with data sheets or capability or anything like that, and everything to do with model representation. This is because GW kind of backed themselves into a wall with the Astra Militarum way back when with the ye old Imperial Guard by having their different regimental world forces be different in more than just coloration of model kits available. Let me explain that a little bit better. If you play Space Marines, or you play Tau, Orcs even, Tyranids, no matter what High Fleet, Orc Tribe, Tau Sep World, or Space Marine chapter, for regular Space Marine Imperium chapters, not Grey Knights, or Chaos because they're not Imperium, no matter which one of those four I said that you play, sub-faction wise, whether it's Goths, Bad Moons, Viorla, Farsight, Leviathan, Kraken, Ultramarines, Salamanders, whatever, the models for that respective faction all work for all of that. You play Goths, you paint them up as Goths for the Orcs. If you play them as Bad Moons, you paint them up as Bad Moons. You paint up the Space Marine models as Ultramarines or Salamanders, and so on and so forth. That's not the way it works with Astra Militarum. You play Cadians, you buy the Cadian models, and you paint them up. However, whatever, if you're painting them up as the 68th Regiment or the 101st, whatever. If you want to play Catachans, because you like a Rambo-themed army, Jungle Fighters, you collect those models, paint them up, however. Militarum Tempestus, same concept. Or you go Forge Rolled and you collect Death Corps Krieg. Now, they don't have a regimental doctrine, but you can just use the Codex and play them however. And you paint them up as Death Corps Krieg regiments. My point is, you're never painting up Cadians like a Catachan, because it's just, it doesn't work that way. It's just a camouflage Cadian at that point. It's not a Catachan because it doesn't visually look like a Catachan. Why is this such a big deal? Well, because regimental doctrine-wise, which is the equivalent of chapter tactics, we have 8. Only 3, counting the Militarum Tempestus here, even though they're not like a normal regimental force. They're basically like the Imperium Stormtrooper Brigade style forces, so they're a little bit different, but they're still a regimental doctrine. So 3 of the 8 total have model support. The other 5 do not. If you want to be Valhallan Ice Warriors, if you missed the latest made to order, which is them, you missed them. Who knows if they're ever coming back? If you want to play the Vostrian Firstborn, which were the last of the traditional regimental forces to get model support during the Medusa 5 campaign years ago, still all pewter, so they were the most recent of the regimental forces to get pewter models, they're no longer available for sale, and haven't been for a while. There's the Armageddon Steel Legion, which does have 1 squad available to purchase, but it's not anything that really works for a heavy weapon team, and it's not anything that really works for a commander or a Voxcast or anything like that. So, again, an issue. The Talarn Desert Raiders had made to order a while ago. Who knows when that's coming back? And the Mordian Iron Guard, I think, had a similar thing a while ago. I could be wrong, though. My point is, those 5, if you want to collect any of those, you don't just pick up a Cadian and paint it up like a Valhalla. Now you have a Cadian in Arctic colors, if that, right? You need those models to represent the regiments. That's how the Astra Militarum regiments are. They're not just quote-unquote palette swaps. Of course, Viorla, Tau Sep, Farsight Enclave are more than just palette swaps. But on the model's visual core, what you're looking at visually is a Tau Fire Warrior with different colors, basically palette swaps. And then you go, oh, that is Viorla. I know Viorla is this, that, and the other thing, and has this capability. Then it quickly snowballs to be more than just a color scheme change. But my point is, that's how it starts, and that's what you can do. And you can't do that with the Astra Militarum. This is a real issue. Basically, from the end of 4th and truly 5th edition onwards, GW was trying to go away from this exact problem of not having model representation for things in their codex. And I have to imagine logistically supporting all these pewter models for all these different regiments that are really minority regiments that don't get purchased or played much at all. In fact, I've only ever seen Cadians, and then I think I maybe have sort of one Catachan force, and I saw a Deathcore Krieg force. That's it for all the Imperial Guard Astra Militarum forces I've ever seen. Now, this was before Militarum Tempestus came out, so I probably would see a couple of those around. But my point is, I've never seen, even back when they were available to purchase, Armageddon Steel Legion or Talaran Desert Raiders, anybody like that. So, yeah, definitely a minority force. Not that what I see is declares that to be true, but I have to imagine that's a similar concept for a lot of people. So, logistically, a company which does not have unlimited space or unlimited budget and unlimited personnel is going to make cuts where they have to just to streamline their storage and their models. So I get why they're gone on a business level, but it's an issue and it's a gap that needs filling. Because if I'm new player, you know, and I decide Astra Militarum is going to be what I collect because they are really interesting because they have the Hammer of the Emperor, they have cardboard armor and angry flashlights, but you know what? They still get the job done. Yada, 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 right? If they just appeal to you, and every force appeals to people for different reasons, and you look into them some more, you might go, I don't want an army of Rambos. Militarum Tempestus is cool, but they're not the traditional regimental style that the Astra Militarum is that got me interested, so I'm not really too keen on looking further into them. That's not me personally, I'm just saying as an example. And if Cadians are just too basic for you, or you see them everywhere and they just don't grab you visually. Sometimes, for people they do, that's why they're everywhere. But if you're like me, I guess, and the Cadians don't take your interest, you're probably gonna look elsewhere. So maybe you like the Mordinayan Guard look. Maybe the Vostroyans, which have a very odd look compared to the other regiments on this list in the Regimental Doctrine section, appeal to you. Well, there's a problem now. How you collect it. And they did include converted models in the showcase section of the codex. I don't own the codex, so I can't say how well or how many they included or how well they go into it. But they did that to show you how you can represent some of these regiments on the table, which, sure, is helpful, but isn't the answer. It's not the fix. That's a really weak band-aid. Made to order is not a fix either. All it is recasting old molds randomly. I assume logistically it makes sense to do that in those quick limited runs versus having a fully standing made-to-order section. As much as we would all love a fully standing made-to-order section, and then I wouldn't really have to do this ramble, I'm sure that presents more havoc to their logistics and supply chain of molds and what's being cast when and how versus doing it the way they're doing it now. So how do we fix this? Because, like I said, if you're interested in the Vostrians, well, what are you going to do? You're going to look on eBay, hope eBay has your back by finding kits or an army that's getting rid of by somebody, and you purchase it and strip it down and repaint it. And you hope that maybe the different local gaming stores you're willing to travel to in your area have some backlog of blisters or even kits that are just stored somewhere in the back that they are aware of and will let you sift through to maybe find something to buy. Maybe. If they even still have anything. So, not the best answers. Now, I have given it thought on how they could, in a realistic enough sense and in a practical enough sense, try and fix this issue. But there's no quick, easy fix. And bringing back the range the way it was for these guys isn't the answer because they're older pewter casts. You can tell. And it's just not conducive. They don't look horrible, but if you're gonna do it, I say, quote unquote, do it right. And that involves turning these guys into plastic. So I fully encourage you to share your thoughts on how you would like to see it fixed, and how you view this issue. Do you think, whatever, or do you view it as an issue? Because this could definitely turn people away from the hobby who would otherwise enjoy it, and make it a big headache for people trying to collect any of those 5 regiments. Even the Steel Legion, which has 1 squad available. Still, who knows how long that'll last. So, this isn't by any means an easy fix. That what I would propose as a theoretical fix to this. But I think it's realistic and practical enough that if they so desire to invest the time, the money, the energy, and the personnel to it, could be done, and they could roll it out slowly and not in just one big thing. And that is to make one kit and only one kit per regiment. So one kit for the Valhallans, for the Volstrians, for the Armageddons, for the Talarans, and for the Mordians. Multi-part plastic kit. But it would be a bloated kit, meaning currently it's either 5 or 10-man kits you see for the Astra Militarum. This would be I would like to see 13-man kit, but a 12-man kit would work too. And why is it bloated like this? Because they're going to offer extra head options, extra arm options, extra leg options. So you have some kneeling guys. They're going to offer, this theoretical thing, they should offer special weapon options, of course the las guns, some close combat weapon options, and command squad options. A company banner bearer bit, voxcaster bits, medic bits, and of course your commander bits, whatever, and some ways to equip him. And some extra kneeling leg bits, which you can use if you wanted to represent them kneeling and shooting, first rank fire, second rank fire type stuff, or which you could use elsewhere. Because it's just one kit with las guns, some special weapons, maybe a heavy weapon in there, although really just special weapons, las guns, some melee weapons, and then command squad upgrade stuff, and some extra head bits and kneeling leg bits. So you can build a full 10-man squad and have extras left over. Those extras left over, as you buy more of this kit, which would have, like I said, the different options, so it wouldn't all just look the same put together. So as you buy more of this kit, you have more models left over to eventually make 2 squads and a command squad, or 2 squads and a heavy weapon team infantry-wise. Remember, it's just the infantry that are the issue. The vehicles are pretty much universal. The heavy weapons of the heavy weapon teams are universal. It's the infantry manning those guns that aren't. And there's 2 per big base. So you would have, if there were 13 strong kits, 13 model strong kits, you would have, with making 2 squads, you would have enough to make 3 heavy weapon bases, infantry-wise. And this would allow them to just make this one kit and not have to make a command squad kit and not have to make a heavy weapon teams kit. What this would require on the part of the collector of the Talaran or whomever is to go and purchase either the Catachan or the Cadian heavy weapon teams. This is a little clunky, admittedly, but you just wouldn't use the infantry supplied. You would use the extra ones you have from those bloated kits. Thus, one kit doing the job of 3 once bought multiple times, which you would have to do anyway to collect a force of Astra Militarum infantry. So that, I think, is more on the side of a realistic and practical approach. It's not the only answer. It's just the only one I could think of in a way that I think works out okay, and some people may have other answers. Now, they designed these plastic models in CAD software or CAD-like software, so they could take some assets that would work across multiple regiments that either they have already done for the models that they have in plastic already, or that when they're designing, they go, hey, this chainsword arm that could work for this, and this force, or this bionic arms could work here, here, and here, or whatever. It'll help streamline the process a bit, but they still would have to do the design for each of the regiments because they each have a distinctly different look. So that's, I think, one of the best bets out there is if they decide to seriously address this issue, and they should, 5 kits, roll them out over time, whatever, but 5 plastic multi-part kits that make a bloated squad. So 13 models, 12 models, something like that. Charge an extra $10 or so, $10, $15 for the kit. I'm sure they would anyway. And you got one kit doing the work of 3, so you have 5 kits doing the work of 15, more or less. You could say 13, 5 kits doing the work of 13 or so if you're going to just math it and average out the heavy weapon team purchase because you have to buy the Cadian or the Catachans and not use the Cadians and use your stuff and blah 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 blah. My point is, I do think that it is unnecessary to make a whole new heavy weapon team kit and a whole new command squad box when you can just do it in a bloated kit. That way you have 5, like I said, doing the work of 15 total kits that will be needed extra, just 5 kits versus 15. So they take up less space to store and ship and put on storefronts and everything else and put up on the shelves, and would generate that interest again. Plus, it would open up the model pool for the Astra Militarum, because it's quite limited, honestly. Militarum Tempestus go a certain way. You can do what you want with that. I'm sure. I mean, conversion-wise, it's whatever. But you're still kind of limited. Cadian stuff and Catachan stuff don't really go together that well. The Militarum Tempestus stuff don't really go together with the Cadians and Catachans that particularly well. So, if you have these 5 coming with their bits, there might be some kit bash potential there to represent a Chem Dog or a Acid Dog regiment or something like that. So, who knows, right? That's my point. Because we'll never probably see this. But that's my answer for this issue. It would take, like I said, an investment of time, money, personnel. But once it got off the ground, being a plastic sprue, I think it just lends itself better than having to dig out and I put dig out in quotations here, but the old pewter molds and make the cast from made to order every once in a while. And you can still do that, right? Because they did, for example, part of that was classic Commissar Yarrick. We have a Commissar Yarrick model, but they introduced the classic one during that made to order run as well, just cause. You can still have that happen, and people could take that and further flesh out their force. But I do think you need 5 kits in total, 1 for each of the regiments, multi-part plastic, bloated, allowing you to have the bits to make a command squad, bits to make models that would work on a heavy weapons team base, and bits, of course, to make your 10-man squads. What are your thoughts? Would you think of something different? If so, by all means, share it. I'm always curious to see what better ideas you all have than I do. That's just the one I constantly come back to. And it is a doozy, because plastic isn't the cheapest thing to start up. I get that. But GW is pretty good at it, which is why I think they could do just fine. Anyways, share your thoughts on what you think would be a fix for this issue, as well as, do you really view it as an issue or not? I view it as an issue because you are really limiting the fan base collecting Astra Militarum wise now, because you have regimental doctrines, you have 8 of them, but really 3 that are easily usable by most new players. So that seems like a bit of an issue to me. Of course, you can always do the wildcard approach, buy Death Korps Krieg. They look awesome anyway. And if I were to collect an Astra Militarum Codex, I would either do Militarum Tempestus or I go Death Korps Krieg, because that's just what I would do. Anyways, that's it. So thanks very much for tuning in. A bit long-winded, but I didn't want to break it down or rush it. An issue that's existed for years now. Maybe one day it'll get fixed. I really hope it would, because those regiments do look pretty cool. Anyways, thanks very much for tuning in. Share your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button to be part of future conversations. And until next time, take it easy.